so
Hi.
excited for you to be here.
I'm excited to be here too. Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us. And, we connected via Instagram again, right? We're so
That's
grateful
right.
sometimes for social media because it could be like a gift and a curse, right? Like I think social media is a great way. It's like our modern day pen pals, right?
Right.
And I think I'm aging us. I think I'm aging us a little bit, but I think it's very important that like we connect with all of the grief community. Obviously, we're niche down to like sibling loss, but I thought it would be very, very important to have a conversation with you in regards to group therapy. And I think obviously like that speaks volumes to me, but other people don't know what group therapy is. Other people don't want to be vulnerable in front
Vulnerable
of
in front of other
other
people.
people and stuff like that. So go ahead, tell us and the audience about yourself and what you do and how it all started.
Yeah, I'd love to. So I am a marriage and family therapist. I'm based in the Hudson Valley in New York, and most of my my work focuses on grief, loss, anxiety, and life transitions. And part of what brought me into this work is both of my parents died by the time I was 20. So my dad died when I was 15, and then my mom died when I was 20. And their deaths shaped me in all the ways, so many ways.
We're so sorry for
And
your
I'm
loss.
so
Thank you for
sorry.
sharing that with us.
thank you. Yeah, ways in which I didn't fully understand until many years later and am still discovering. And, my identity, my relationships, my nervous system, the way I move through the world. Um, and I didn't set out to specialize in grief, but I'm sure as many therapists would agree, whatever you're working through is going to find you. And
Absolutely.
it
I
just
agree with you
kept
because I'm
showing
in the
up.
fields as well. And
Yeah.
I absolutely and listen, it catches up to you. It's like it kind of throws you into it, right? Like I feel like that's as much as that you even if you want to work against it, it's still you're still like it forces you to be aligned with what you're supposed to be doing. And I think you're doing phenomenal work, right? Because group work
Thank
is
you.
not easy stuff. So
Yeah.
tell us, okay, so um again, right? So we're absolutely so sorry for your loss, and it actually gave you the identity to start like pivoting in that direction of group therapy. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So it was really when I was pregnant with my daughter that I really had this huge wave of
Epiphany.
grief. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think for most people that are grieving, right, after the first few months, after the first year, people stop calling. They stop mentioning your person's name. And for me, it had been over a decade later, and I was like, wow, I know I'm not the only person feeling this. And where's the community? Where's the support?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I just really had a desire to create a space where grief could be held
Right.
really honestly and without apology or without too much explanation, right? You're in a space with people who are giving you permit, you were giving each other permission to talk about our grief without having to, um, overly explain.
Right.
Yeah.
So, um, and obviously I'm again, right, very familiar with grief with group therapy and the things that you do. What are like how does your groups work? Like how does it
Yeah.
I don't know. Like we can sit here, right? And I think we talked about this too. Like we can sit here and we know the verbiage, right? But we also have to talk to people that don't know the verbiage. They don't know what is group therapy? What do you
Yeah.
guys do in group therapy? What do you talk about? How do you have a theme? Like is this a 4 week thing? Is this a one-time thing? So go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah. So the groups that I run are 8 weeks long and there's only 5 people in them. So it's a really small and intimate
It's
space.
yeah.
And I think group therapy offers something that individual therapy can't. I love individual therapy. I do it one on one, but something really powerful happens when someone across the space or the room or virtual room says something you felt but have never said out loud.
Mm,
Mm.
Um, your grief suddenly feels less strange, less isolating, and there's a normalization that happens in this space together. The kind that says like your experience makes sense. You're not alone in this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of
Yeah.
the most beautiful parts of grieving is that when other people understand, it's just feeling seen,
Hmm.
you
The
know, and I think that's a
validation
lot of
too.
times like, um, like
Yeah.
on even when we post like TikTok videos or Instagram videos and people will comment and I think that's one of the things we always say is like, hey, you're not alone and you feel seen. Like, I hear you. Like you're what you're going through, we've gone through or we've experienced in some way, shape, or form. And like,
We're here for you.
we're
Like
here
we're
for you.
here. We're here for you when we want to listen to you. We want to listen to your story. We also want to keep their name alive, right? So like
Yes.
it's so funny. Like, when we were coming into the studio, we were explaining to someone how, Liz is in her year. Like this
It just
is
made a year.
just
Yeah.
made a year in
Wow.
November, and I'm going into year 7 on, February 9th with my brother passing. And it's still like as fresh as yesterday.
Right.
Like it doesn't change any of that.
Yeah.
Do you have like a story that you would like to tell, our audience about group therapy? Like just how profounding and how I don't know.
I think we had talked about something where someone was feeling a little bit isolated, even in a
Yeah.
group.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and this has honestly happened more than once, but
Hmm.
in group spaces, right? And most people that come to my groups have never been in a group before. So they're still discovering what that's like. They're a little bit nervous. And there's so much shame that happens in grief that even in groups, it can feel really hard to share something that just might not feel normal to
Right.
feel, like relief or gratitude for your experience, or that your person is no longer suffering. And yeah, I've had an experience where, you know, it's happened more than once where someone didn't really want to share something in group because they felt like no one would understand. And, I'm always available in between sessions. And, sometimes they'll reach out to me and say, like, hey, I don't know about this. I'm feeling this. Is this normal? And encouraging them to really share it in the group space. And in this one particular situation, the person brought it back into the group, and every single person in the group was said, oh, yeah, I felt that too. I didn't want to say it because I feel ashamed to feel that. Um, and it was just such a connecting moment. And I think it really dismantled that person's shame, and they were allowing themselves to grieve without judgment and to feel the whole range of feelings that come with grief, even the ones that feel wrong.
Right. Well, even
Yeah.
that you say that, right? Like, and you say that with with like such calmness, right? Like, I think like, and therapist to therapist, right? When we see that, we're sitting back and we're just watching it unfold. And it's like, this is what grief is, like group therapy is
What
about.
about the community?
And just being there and just supporting one another without the judgment, without the shame, without the, just there's just so many different things I feel like behind that.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, there's such a sense of comfort when it comes to finding your community. And this was such a big deal for us when we were
Mm.
dealing with, sibling grief. And we were just like, we really want to find like our community because we're going to find healing, with each other,
Right.
and also with like with our community and our base of followers and people who we connect with. And like, I'm sure you have like it's almost like an adoration, right? Like when you see everybody kind of come together and support each other. Sometimes even on our pages, we see people interact with each other,
Yeah, that they
and it's
connected through
so
us.
beautiful
I love it.
when they're like, "Oh, I mean, I saw it on a TikTok
Mm.
that we had posted in October, and today there was or yesterday there was a comment from somebody who was talking about losing their mom,
Mm.
and
Mm.
how she's like, today the day. Oh, I get chills. She said, today is the day that the flowers from my mother's funeral died.
Mm.
So she took the flowers home with her after the funeral, and she's like, they died today. And she says it was another wave of grief of things. And I think that's so important because when you're grieving, you learn that there's like new things that will trigger you and new waves of grief. Things, I mean, of course, we all suspect the holidays, the birthdays, the special anniversaries.
It's kind of like expected.
Yeah,
Like, it's
it's expected.
expected.
You're
Yeah.
gonna hold
Sure.
space for that
Sure.
grief, you know? But then it's when these things smack you
My God, the
and
flowers.
they come out of nowhere. She's like, I felt like I was going through it all over again.
And it's so crazy that you bring up the flowers because I just remember being in my living room and this was at the rental at the time. And I just remember getting so many flowers and I would walk in and I'm like, oh my God, it smells like a funeral. Wait. And then somebody turned around and when I said that to them, they were like, well, why does it have to be a funeral home? Why can't it be a flourish?
Or garden, or
Or
yeah.
garden? And like kind of changed the perspective
Right.
of it. But I would just walk in and you can really smell. And I was just like,
Yeah.
I don't want the flowers to die. And like, can I just tell you about those what is it? The ones
Calla
with,
lilies, the white
no, I
ones?
love the calla lilies, but I'm talking about, there's that one flower that it's like, they have all the greens and then the little, the
Lilies, yeah.
lily one.
And those, they stink.
I know.
Me and my mom hate those flowers. We cut them out.
Sometimes they're way too strong.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'm always cutting the little
Yeah.
like tail out of them. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Those flowers.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up the flowers.
Yeah, because it's like simple things that will trigger you. But and then I mean I read that comment and I was like, ooh, like I felt that. But
Right.
then also seeing people interact and sort of be there for each other, it's just
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
you know, it's really
And
nice.
people that you would maybe never have connected with otherwise. It's such a
Yes.
connector. And
just
Yes.
happened to us.
Yeah. Just happened to us again.
It just happened to us.
It's
We just had
incredible.
somebody recording on, was a guest on another podcast in the studio. And he said, hey, he asked Jessica, what's your podcast about? He says, grief. And he says, you know, I lost my sister. She was stabbed and, you know, she's no
Aw.
longer here. And we were like,
Oh my God.
like first of
you would
all,
never.
I was like, thank you for sharing that. I was like, thank you so much for sharing that. And like, he was like, much success to you. And it was like, people who you would never imagine in the music industry or in other industries that you would
Yeah.
say, hey, this is like really good. Like, keep going. And like, I can relate to this.
Yeah.
It's going to affect, we always say it, grief is going to affect you one
One
way or another.
Yep.
It's just not your turn yet.
That's it. And we actually just talked about that. It's not when it's your turn, it's your turn. And you want people to be compassionate for you. You want people to be there for you. But some people are just not, they're not equipped with that. So with that being said, what made you go more into the parent loss? Because I know we talked about a little bit, and we talked about this back in like, I think it was like summer almost, right? I think August.
Yeah.
And
I
we're
think
now in
so.
like January.
Yeah.
Isn't this the craziest? It's so bizarre. But I think I think you talked about you have included parent loss in your group now, not just mother loss.
Yeah. So I have a group for women that have lost their moms, and then I've expanded the groups or set another group for men and women have lost one or more parents. And I think, you know, everybody's loss is so unique. And I think it can be when you're grieving, you really want to get as close to someone understanding your experience, even though it's going to be different. So even in the groups, right? You might have lost a mom, you might have lost a dad, but again, your experience is going to be so unique. And the age range is 20s to early 40s. So it's kind of a specific time that you're in that you might be grieving a parent. And I didn't really see that support out there. So I thought I would make the space. And, you know, jumping back just to the community, one of the best parts about groups is that the community continues after the group is over. People start group chats, they meet up for coffee, they text each other when they're having a tough day. You know, I've done some in-person events where everyone from different groups can come and meet each other. And that's to me, that's the best part of this, honestly, is
Mhm.
connecting people that would have honestly
Yeah.
never met. Yeah.
Right. Right. And then, so I think I have maybe more so of a personal question to ask you. Like, how did you losing your mom and your dad, how were you able to grieve? Like like what did you do to help yourself through the grieving process as a human, right? Like having the human experience versus like the professional side. Like let's put the professional side. Like what did you do that you found helpful and that was healthy for you?
Yeah. Thanks for asking that.
Yeah.
It took me a really long time to feel it. There were so many years where someone asked me,
Dissociated.
yeah, did you
Yeah.
grieve? I'm like, I don't know. What does that
Put it
even
in there.
mean?
Put it
Yeah,
over.
Yep. Yep.
exactly. Honestly, this work keeps me in my grief in a way that feels right for me.
And it
Like,
feels healthy.
Yeah.
yeah, I just allow myself to cry and to feel it and to
Yeah.
be mad and sad, and I
All the
don't know that
things.
there's a way other than to face it.
I
Right.
have said often that coming here and doing this podcast is probably the only, if not one of the very few places where I'm not masking my grief.
Mm,
And you probably can resonate with that too. When you're doing this type
Huge.
of work, you're not masking. It's on the forefront. You're like, because we have to mask. We have to mask as parents at times to kind of protect our kids.
Yeah.
Um, of course, we have certain times. I know your baby's very young,
well,
so you
so is
can't have
hers.
these
So
deep
she has a
convos.
2-year-old, so they keep us very present.
You see,
Huge.
mine are
Yeah.
teens. So there are times where I cry in front of them and they know why. And then there
Yeah.
are times where I just don't want to go there. Like I want to be mindful of like what they're going through and their own separate grief journeys. And it's hard to be a teen.
Mm,
People think, oh, you're
Yeah.
young, you don't have bills, you don't have to pay mortgage. It's like, yeah, but I remember being in high school and it is not
yes.
easy.
And we
I
were in
would
high
never
school.
go back.
We know
We were in high school together, and it's like you're dealing with death, you're dealing with, being a high schooler or an eighth grader. And it's
Right.
like, and it's tough and you don't want to talk, they don't really want to talk to anybody. And it's like,
Mhm.
so sometimes you will mask. I mean, I think my job, I'm always masking at my job.
Yep.
We talked very often about being like the life of the party and being very outgoing and smiling and happy. But a lot of times when we're doing that, we're masking.
Mhm.
So doing this kind of work is a time where it's like, I am seeing my grief and I'm living
Same.
with my grief and I'm sharing it with people. And I think that's great that you are doing what you're doing because it's also holding space for yourself.
And it goes right into
Yeah.
what you said, a courageous
I
act
just
of
read that. And that was
self-awareness.
my next thing to bring up. Yep.
And then it's like, well, how does it show up for your clients? But also, how does it show up for you? So that's a two-part question.
Yeah. I think it is incredibly courageous and brave to sit with the truth of your experience without
Yep.
pushing it away.
Yeah.
And we have so many tools to push it away these days. We have our phones, we've got Spotify. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that out loud.
That's
Spotify, but
Yeah. Word this year.
music, headphones, like anything to distract ourselves from what's actually happening.
Right. Right.
Food, like alcohol. I mean, even the things
Alcohol,
that aren't
marijuana, drugs,
exercise, work, anything.
even medicated drugs. Like they're like, oh, okay, well, you're depressed. Here's some Lexapro. If you're this, here's some, marijuana,
Mm,
some medicated marijuana. And again, right, we're not against if medication works for you, then that works for
Mhm.
you. If holistic ways work for you, that's fine. But I feel like it's kind of like social media when there's just so much information. There's so many
Easy distractions.
easy distractions, easy quote unquote solutions that it's
it's too
like,
easy. Yeah.
it's right. And are you really doing the work? Are you processing this grief? Are you accepting the fact that this person is not going to be here anymore? Are you really going to be able to move forward without this person or even animal, right? Like you have people that are just like
Yeah.
distraught about losing their dog or distraught about losing
Grief,
a bird,
grief in any capacity. We often quote Tyler Perry,
Yes.
who took his mother's death very, very hard.
Very.
And
Mm.
he said, I tried to work it away. I mean, the man has a million projects,
Always.
And he said, like, I tried to just work it away. And he's like, what I
Yeah.
realized is that grief will wait for you.
Oh, it
Oh
will.
yeah.
It's gonna wait for you. You can try to work it away. You can try and work it out away. You can be at the gym. You can try and, parent it away. I'm just, because I remember I was like, I'm just gonna be about my kids, my kids, my kids, my kids, my kids, my kids, and then work, 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 and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I have not processed this,
And then other things also come up. And that was a conversation that actually Liz and I had earlier today. Like, grief may hit you, right? Like, so like for me, it was more, like an awakening. And I've talked about this a lot. Like I was on another podcast, other podcast, like, Liz and I are in two different
'cause we have
stages of our
different
griefs.
space, yeah.
But
Yeah.
in the same token, for me, I can say that, with this awakening, like it was other things that I needed to work on.
Yeah.
And it was just more of like, well, you didn't want to address this other stuff, this, that, and the other. Like you wanted to sit there and disassociate, or you wanted to go sit there because you were 21 and you're going to go get some drinks and you're going to go dance it away and party.
Right.
Ma'am, here it is. Here it is. You're going
Yeah.
to keep getting that thrown at you. And
Yeah.
it's like, you're going to address it.
I didn't day drink until my sister passed.
Mm.
I had
It is so fun. Too.
it is fun. Like the summer came, I was like, hey.
So so if you, because you're up in New York, it's like this smell that we all get.
It's the sunshine outside.
It's the sunshine.
And if it's nice outside, you
It's
want to
nice
have a
outside.
drink
It's a drink
outside.
outside.
Yeah. Something happens. Yeah.
Also, like the time management. Like
Right.
I've never the ADD, the time management, okay, I can manage this without some sort of medication, or I can manage this without certain things. And it's just like when grief comes to the forefront, it brings up all things. Like I was honest with Jessica earlier. I said I felt like grief paralyzed me.
Mhm.
It was like my time blindness went like out of control. It's like I couldn't manage time. I would overextend myself in a way where I'd say like, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do that. And I just like can't get to it. It's there's all these things that just come to the forefront, and then you have to work on those things while you're grieving. I don't wish that on anybody.
But then it brings us to the next question that how can somatic and body-based practices help people move forward through stored grief and emotional pain?
This.
Yeah. So I truly believe that grief is not just emotional, it is so physical. I'm sure
Yeah.
the two of you could probably relate to that. People feel it in their chest, in their stomach, in their throat, breath. Your body really like carries the weight of this loss. So I think somatic practices allow you to gently reconnect with your body so the grief has space to move.
Right.
And I don't know if either of you have read or heard anything from Mary Frances O'Connor. She wrote The Grieving Brain
No.
and The Grieving Body.
Writing
She's
that down.
incredible.
Really? I've never heard of
Yes.
her.
Writing that down.
Yeah.
Listen, and I'm queen of putting books in my
The audiobook is great
I
as
bought-
well.
the 30.
The grieving
audio
brain.
book,
I
no.
like that. I'm
No, not for
And
you.
then I have the other stack of books. Like I'm talking to clients. I'm like, okay, which book do you want? Okay, hold on. Let me go through my other stacks of books. Let me see this, but you're so funny
Yeah.
because that Amazon list is pretty strong.
I don't even want to show you the books over here that I have not read. It's
I can't.
embarrassing.
There's just no time. There's no
No
Oh,
time.
so
time.
it's two separate books: the grieving
two separate
brain and the
books.
grieving body. Ooh, I love
Yeah.
that.
So she
Oh, okay. Tell us a little
she's
more about that.
she's a grief researcher and neuroscientist, and she talks about grief in a way that is related to our attachment system.
Oh,
And
Okay.
so what resonated with me the most is this idea that our brain and our body keep searching for the person after they died.
oh,
Not metaphorically, but literally.
sure.
And so our attachment system, right, is designed to track the people we're bonded to. Where are they?
Right.
Are they coming back? Are we safe without them? And
I
so,
feel like
yeah.
I heard her name, and she may have been on the telepathic tapes. I'm not sure if you've
I'm
heard
not
of
sure. No.
I feel you said that she's a neuroscience scientist.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, but anyway.
Yeah. So it's really about tending to your nervous system.
Yeah.
So a lot of the work that we do in group, or at least the beginning of group, we integrate some grounding practices. Like, can
Yes.
we allow ourselves to even feel what's there? Notice what's even there. And sometimes when we slow down, you start feeling it, right? You
Right.
start feeling it kind of like bubbling up. Or, we're walking around or we're at our desks with our shoulders up here, or
Yes. Yep.
like our jaws clenched.
Mhm.
Yes.
Our,
And we're
for
not
me, it's my
breathing
jaw.
properly.
We're
And
forgetting
we're
to
not breathing.
breathe.
Yeah. And
It's
that's
shallow
something
breaths. It's shallow breaths. It's not
instead of like what
filling up.
Miguel, we always bring him up.
We had one episode with Miguel. He does breath work. He's
The
Amazing.
guru.
yeah,
Guru of
he's
breath
like,
work.
what's his Instagram handle? We'll keep dropping.
Positive soul shaker.
Yeah, positive soul shaker.
Love
He has
that.
some breathing exercises, and he came here, and at the end, it's a bonus on our one of our episodes. The last 3 minutes is like a breathing exercise that we did with him. And
Amazing.
we're like, whoa, like
Yeah.
he was like, because you're all breathing here, you're not filling up your belly with air, you're not letting it out, and it's like it really lets your body have this like pause, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
So-
bracing ourselves, right, for the next
Right.
thing to happen,
That's
or how are we going
survival.
to prepare ourselves? Yeah,
Because it's
survival.
like that survival, that
I
flight or
heard
flight.
I heard something with somatic exercises where it's a lot of stuff in the hips that are stored in the
Mm,
hips and opening up the hips. I kind of want to look into that.
Let's do it, girl. I'm
yeah.
ready when
Listen,
you are.
listen, I'll do all that stuff. I listen,
Honestly,
anything to
even
help.
laying down on the
Yes.
ground and kind of butterflying your feet together and letting your hips kind of lay open like that. Just sit there for a while. You'll see what happens.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
on your back?
Yeah.
You gotta lay down.
Oh, I'll do it right now.
Honestly, sometimes you might start crying. Like it really
Yeah.
opens
But
something up.
I've seen videos of like somatic healing and people saying that you store so much trauma in your hips.
Yeah.
And when you open up your hips, yeah, all this release. I'll tell you something. My hair has been down to my waist for so long. I think it was maybe 8, 9 months after my sister passed. When I cut all of it off, I mean, I
Well, they
really
say it's stored in your hair too.
I never believed that. But when I cut everything off, I was just like, oh my God. Like
Weightlifted.
it just felt so much better and lighter and also because part of my grief, a big part of my grief was detangling my hair.
Yes.
I went from not being able to get out of bed to being able
wow.
to get out of bed but not brush my teeth. And then I was able to get out of bed and brush my teeth. And then it was washing your face as well. And then it graduated to me and my mom making sure that we wash our hair. We would literally check in and say, did you wash your hair today? Today you're going to wash your hair. We're going to wash your hair today. And couldn't do it today. Okay, tomorrow. So we would check up. So then we would get to the point, me and my mom have very long hair. We would wash our hair, but I could never get to the point of detangling it. And I was like, I got to a point where I'm like, why am I making this so hard for myself? And when I chop my hair, I'm like, wow, I can actually do my hair, which kind of made me feel a little bit more accomplished. Like I did something to take care of myself today and I didn't have to make it so hard.
The self-care. Yeah.
Aw.
So I just kind of wanted to ask you too a little bit. What do you think are some misconceptions? I think that's like one of my favorite
We
questions.
love asking this question to everyone.
Yeah, honestly, I think this might be like a little game for us.
I know, like
what's the
what
mis-
feels like the biggest misconception about
misconception?
grief?
Yeah,
Oh man.
just like where do I start?
Yeah. It's like I've heard a lot, honey.
Yeah.
Misconceptions. I think, and this is probably what you hear along, but that it grief follows a predictable timeline.
Yeah.
And
Like after the first year, you're supposed to feel good.
oh yeah, or 3 years or 4 years, right? It's like it is not a sign that you're doing anything wrong, right? And I think what I was saying earlier too, I think really understanding how normal it is to continue like searching for this bond with this person who's no longer there. And we're still expecting them to return in an embodied way. We know we know cognitively that they are not coming back.
Right.
But you might reach for your phone or expect a text or,
Yeah.
pick up the phone to call them or imagine seeing them walking down the street. And I will also say that we feel it every single day, and the grief impacts every decision we make, every relationship we have, everything. It touches everything.
Right. That's so bizarre that you say that because I was actually driving on one of the roads adjacent to coming to the studio. And I just got back from Florida. This was not this year. This was last year in September. And I was waiting at the red light, and there was this boy that walked at
Mm.
my brother. And when I tell you, I was in a deer in headlights. I sat back and I had my kid in the car. And then I'm hearing all the beeping. And I'm just watching him walk by, cross in front of my car. And the way that I wanted to scream, Sean, and I'm like, but I know realistically that's not him. And I'm going to freak this kid out. But I want to say something to him, but I know I can't say anything to him. So it's really interesting that you say that because, like, even sometimes when I'm driving to the studio, I'm like, am I going to see this kid again? Maybe I can say something to him. Maybe he might know something. I mean, I'm talking about like, you could see him back there, and it's like, he has a very distinguished, like this kid had just very distinguished things like my brother. And I'm like, and he was just walking across my car and, he was doing his thing. He didn't even realize that I'm staring at him. And I'm like, and I hear the cars beeping behind me. And I'm like, the way I wanted to just like kind of pull over and just grab him and embrace it. Right. Like, so it really brings back to that point that you said that like, we know that they're not here in the physical form, but just we want them here so bad. And it goes back to that attachment thing. I
That
think
like
that's
craving connection. Oh my God, I'm crying.
yes. Yeah. Yeah. Craving
Yeah.
It's the
connection.
second time I've cried on this pod in like 50 episodes.
That's your beat, girl.
What?
No, because
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's the craving connection.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like today I was getting ready and I saw I keep my sister's like favorite perfume. It's empty. And I took it off her vanity.
Thank you.
And like I
Yeah.
had it on my vanity and I was like, I need to stop keeping this like empty bottle on here, but I
Yeah.
want to have it close to me.
Yeah.
And so I put it like in my drawer, but I took it out and I smelled it today. And
Yeah.
I really was like, this is the smell that I smelled like every time I hugged her. Ooh, I'm really losing it.
Oh my.
No, it's so
But like
tender.
this is the smell that like I always knew when I hugged her, this was like the smell. And like even in college, like my final project in psychology class was aromatherapy.
Yeah.
And it was like how like the smell of somebody can trigger all of these things,
Wow.
And I was like when I smelled her today, I was like, I want to be close to her so bad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm like shoveling snow and like the same tree kept shaking and like putting snow on the ground. And I was like, are you fucking with me? Because she was such a jokester. She was so annoyed.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you told her that something annoyed you, she would do it. And she was somebody like whenever we were laughing, she would hit you. She's one of those people who'd be like, ha ha, ha, and like
All the
hit you.
time.
And I would be like, could you stop hitting me? And so every time like something was funny, she would do it on purpose and like push me over.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. But
Thank you for
you
sharing
see, like
that.
I'm getting emotional because I feel seen.
Right.
With what you're
Right.
saying.
And
It's
Steph,
like,
you're amazing. You're so
yeah, you
and
have
you're
a very
so
calming voice.
I-
Shit.
I
I'm crying probably
I
because
know.
I feel
Well,
so comfortable.
and that's what I said to you. Like, I was like, I love Steph. I love the way that she's just so calm and she's patient. And I think that's what it is. And, we talk about the pregnancy pause, and you're so fantastic at it. Because not me, I'll be like, I jump on that word and I gotta go get it, like, and, we're always talking about that. But you are so fantastic. And I can't even imagine being in a group therapy
Thank
with
you
you
both.
because I know I'd be like a whole
Right. The
absolute
only other
mess.
person that made me cry was the other. She's a grief counselor, and she always told us, "Wait, why am I talking?"
Yes.
And she would have
Annette.
She would
Yeah.
say like, "I always think of wait, why am I talking?" So that you can kind of contribute
Pause.
to the conversation and have a
Yeah.
pause. Oh, but thank you so much. We're out of time.
Yes.
My nose
yes.
is running.
Oh my God. Okay, so two things just real quick. Like,
How can we find you? How can everyone
how
find
can
you?
everyone find you? But also for someone who's listening and feels stuck in their grief, what's the gentle first step that you would recommend?
Yeah. So self-compassion. Notice how you're speaking to yourself and to your grief.
Yeah.
Speaking one memory of a person that you lost to someone that you trust, whether that's a friend or a therapist. letting yourself cry
Yeah. Yeah.
and telling yourself, like, this is grief, this is allowed. And if you're feeling stuck, that usually means you're overwhelmed. So finding a way to slow down and kind of tend to that part of yourself that's feeling overwhelmed. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And then how can people find you besides us reposting you and reposting your next, like, for the 4 weeks, your next 6 weeks, you know, because I'm always, and like any chance we get, like we're always reposting. What other ways can
Amazing.
people find you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram at Steph Bayan Therapy, and my website is the same, stephbayantherapy.com. And
Amazing.
I'm pretty good at getting back to people, and I love connecting with everyone and anyone. So please reach out if you just want to share your story or just say hi. I would love to hear from anyone.
Well, people
Yeah.
would love that. People would
Thank you
really
Thank you
love
both.
that.
so much for joining
Thank you
us
so
today.
much for joining us. And thank you, everyone, for listening in, and leave us some comments and likes and shares. And you can find us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TikTok, Instagram, and just kind of continue the conversation, and let's keep it going. And you're not alone, clearly, right? Right.
Thank you both so much.
You're so
Pleasure.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much.